First order of business is a roll call. And I'll start, I am here. Commissioner Kerr,
Here.
you, Commissioner Frazier.
Good.
Commissioner Dion,
Here.
here you are. And do not have Commissioner Lambert. Commissioner Christensen.
Here.
And we do not have Commissioner Stackhouse or Councilman Anthony Garcia. So, but we do have quorum, so move forward. Very good. Land acknowledgement. The Flagstaff Parks and Recreation Commission humbly acknowledges the ancestral homelands of this area's indigenous nations and original stewards. These lands, still inhabited by native descendants, border mountain sacred indigenous people. We honor them, their legacies, their traditions, and their continued contributions. We celebrate their past, present, and future generations who will forever know this place as home. Very good. I don't see that we have any members of the public on, but anyhow, we have an open call to the public. This portion of the meeting is for items that are not on the agenda. The commission cannot act on items presented during the public participation of the agenda. The commission is prohibited by the open meeting law from discussing or considering the item until the item is officially placed on an agenda. If there are any public comments at this time, please limit those comments to 5 minutes. Again, I didn't see anybody. So give it a second. Anybody? Going once, twice, 3 times. All right, moving on. We can move right into our discussion items. The first item on the agenda is those wonderful sport courts at Bushmaster Parks, substantially complete.
Okay.
That was a hard one on a Monday afternoon.
That was a hard one to say, huh? Let me share a video. I have to have it on repeat so that it will actually play. Yep. So we're just gonna do that. Okay. Here, it's a 3-minute video that our one of our IT coworkers put together. So those were the courts originally. You can kind of see some of the cracking in it, which is awesome. So that's pre-construction. That's when there were 2 basketball courts, 2 tennis courts that also operated as 8 pickleball courts on site. So that's what everything looked like before. We even set up construction fencing. This thing will start to cruise through a few of the stages to where we are now to be substantially complete. And it hopefully is flipping here soon. There are people even playing, which is awesome. This portion is so those 2 basketball, 2 tennis courts that demoed, and then 4 separate post-tension slabs were put up with a lot of grading activity because anyone that was out there, the courts are actually about 4 feet up taller or higher than what they were before. So those are post-tension slabs of 2 tennis, 2 basketball, a 6-pack of pickleball, and a 2-pack of pickleball for that total of 8 pickleball. So that gives a good idea of also what a post-tension slab looks like. 3 out of 4 of those have the post-tension cables installed at that point. Where the one without the cables is just compacted AB at that point in this particular footage. Then we got some footage when not all of it was 100% striped or colored or with the epoxy coating on it, but the 6 pickleball were complete with their coatings. The basketball were at that time like about 80% complete with all the coatings and striping, and they were working on the 2 tennis there, but it gives an idea of what that started to look like. Some of the site work, concrete, the flat work, the sidewalks were in place. Some of the landscaped areas and the stormwater detention basins were in place at that time. So just another good view. This is with the lights on. I mean, we can spend as much time as we want to on this part because it really demonstrates how the lighting, I'll pause it, just go straight down. It's awesome. It's unreal out there. That is not what the lighting looked like before in those other courts were previously lighted, and it had a lot of like spraying of lights that kind of went out this way. You can tell these just go straight down. That is what new LED lighting will do on anything that if we had an open checkbook and could just light a bunch of our stuff in sport courts and sport fields, that's what it would look like.
I was wondering how good the coverage was, because when I was standing out there, I'm so used to the lights being on all four corners of the court, you don't.
Yeah, and we didn't necessarily have to do that. Like a great example is if you can see my cursor is that light pole right there. That has lamps. It's one pole and it's servicing quite a bit on two separate areas. So we're also very efficient with how we did this. And then I think you can see there over here where on this side of the tennis courts where the lighting stops, it's pitch black dark then right beyond that. Again, that's just all a part of this newer technology that we were able to implement here, which was to me one of the really neat wins of this project is that we'll see what occurs with any future noise or noise discussions with city council, because that will be a future agenda item that council member Spence would like to discuss. So we'll see what that resembles. I'm not sure how we'll elect to measure any noise or anything like that, but with these cords being up higher, taller, higher, whatever definition works best for you to visualize that. It may change how the noise travels outside of the park itself. And then lighting, the demonstrating this lighting will help, I think, for future projects where we would love, say, for example, lighting at that Cheshire running track with that multi-purpose field in the center of it clearly demonstrates that the lighting's not going to be bleeding into individuals' backyards or anything like that. So really neat. I'll let this keep playing and we can talk about any and all aspects of this too. And it'll just rotate through and go back to the beginning to what things look like pre-construction on that. That gives you even more footage there of how the lights truly just illuminate the court area itself. Some of the challenges that we had, and so this was a 5 month and 1 week long duration construction project, so really hustled on this one to get it going. Some of the challenges that we had were tight work area. We were basically encumbering about 1 acre inside, a little bit over 1 acre to build this, but it included needing to demo what was on site, get that out of there, and then start doing all the site work that way. I think complaints that we received would have been construction trucks entering the site. There was one entrance point that is on the south side of the park itself. And so that was all grading trucks. And when you're, say, removing all of that concrete with the demo, that was all the cement trucks coming in to pour all those slabs, but it had to happen kind of thing. So I'd say those were some of the challenges that occurred on site. Constructability wise challenges that we encountered, and a lot of Gino's team helped out immensely with this, where we found a lot of underground utilities that maybe were there. Maybe a water line here or there. So we found some fun in the area. I think a couple water lines were realigned, maybe even a few times.
Those are irrigation lines or?
No, there was a
It was
pot of.
for both,
Yeah.
reclaimed irrigation lines, just nothing matched the as-builts that we had from the original construction of the park. So there were some things we've never known were under the ground that were discovered. We ended up having to just reroute everything that was discovered. Essentially had to get rerouted outside the new court area, and that was on Parks coworkers.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was the opportune time to do it. At least it was discovered, and then we had a construction zone where we could do that and attempt to get that done. Yeah, I think some other challenges. All of the power for that lighting was in an old APS box, if you will, like metal box. doors falling off, you name it kind of thing. So APS essentially forced our hand, but that's a good force to replace that full, panel box, if you will. So we've got a nice brand new box out there, which is cool. That'll just provide our future selves a little bit of security on that, because the box out there had to have been from maybe early 90s at best, I think.
Does that feed the entire park?
It does, and everything branches off from there.
Expansion on the east side.
Side, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was good to replace that. So that was another interesting little challenge to figure out. Yeah, there's plenty of trees. So every tree that came out, a new tree was planted. So there were 21 trees that came out. There were 21 trees planted out there. That was a part of the direction and agreement with city council with getting this project over the finish line over a 2-year process.
What kind of trees did you plant?
There are some maple out there. There are some crabapple out there. There was a special request from our beautification arts and sciences division or section at the city to plant these Japanese Kwanzaa cherry blossom trees, similar to what you find at in Washington, DC. So we did do a little special order project on that, actually still awaiting for those to even get planted because they're really difficult to find and source. So the contractor is still, they have those. I haven't talked to him today, so I'm not sure if they were installed today. But it really helps clean up. You can see from this image that this park itself is packed with pine. Some of it would be deemed unhealthy based on a walk Gino and I did in another park last week with wildland fire. So it was kind of nice to introduce some new species to this, still with that promise of whatever tree came out, new one came in. And then there are 74 shrubs installed as a part of this project. Those calculations did not compute to any tree replacement. They're just standalone on their own, just to kind of beautify this space and again, introduce some different plant types to the entire park area. So yeah, that is Bushmaster Park. So substantially complete, open to the public. So everyone is playing. I think a coworker said this Saturday, they literally saw pickleball, tennis, and basketball going on. So it's nice to restore basketball and tennis to those sports and have that separation, because I think the neighborhood and community was really looking forward to that.
Yeah, those basketball hoops are super nice.
The basketball court is awesome out there.
Yeah.
That custom color, yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's really nice. So still some finishing touches. We'll still figure out what was not a part of the contractor's contract were items that we call furnishings, benches, trash cans, seating areas, signage, anything like that. So pro staff will handle all of that internally, as well as to figure out where the best placement is for things like that. So we're just down to kind of just those punch list items with the contractor, whether if there's things that need to be fixed, repaired before we accept them, you name it, and we'll get that managed over the next couple weeks. Then be out of there.
Did you get any complaints either during or since completion from residents about one, like you mentioned, the trucks? Was there a hotline or something they could call or keep up to speed with on the construction and all that?
Yeah, anyone could call my number, so as the main point of contact. We received complaints during the demo phase with a lot of trucks going in and out when material was being hauled out, and during the pumping of the concrete phase, because there were a lot of concrete trucks, just one after the other coming in. Those are the main complaints we would receive, or if construction began before 6 AM, which per city code, that's when it's allowed to begin. And a little bit of a difference because there might be individuals showing up to work, which doesn't mean construction activities have begun. But so yeah, we fielded all those complaints, though.
Were there a lot or pretty?
Not a lot, primarily from 2 individuals.
How the response will be now that it's complete? See
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows? Yeah, as of today, knock on wood, haven't received any complaints.
Well, hopefully, in my experience, you activate that area a lot more now, so we'll see what effect that has, with Bushmaster having had its fair share of undesirables and problems in there, so see if that impacts that.
That was the feedback I got this weekend, that now that it's back active and not just a construction space, that you're gonna see some more positive behaviors because it's just an activated greater than an acre, right? Where it wasn't before, and possibly easy to hide behind construction fencing.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Amy, can I share something on this?
yeah, of course. Need me to stop sharing?
I'm just gonna take over.
Okay. Stop. You gonna share complaints?
I just wanted to share that we have a new celebrity.
Nice.
That's before he got kicked out.
Yeah, there was an article in the paper, but I couldn't get access to it.
Our ribbon cutting, they took a bunch of pictures. It's a very nice, a press release did go out today. This is mainly pictures,
Nice.
but, yeah, they did. That's our new city manager, Keen, giving a little talk. There's. And then also, yeah, at the ribbon cutting, we had Amy got all of the, was it fourth and fifth graders?
Fourth and fifth grade, yeah.
Elementary and Flagstaff Pickleball Association and Flagstaff Tennis Association were there. And our local celebrities to help them with basketball. So they, like, the kids were there and they rotated through all the sports. I just,
That's cool, yeah.
they get like good looking press and they spent a long time there and this one just caught my eye. I'd be interested. Yeah, so just some cute stuff.
It was really neat to engage an elementary school with a couple volunteers through those associations, plus with staff, and be like, come on out, be the first ones on the courts. Like, enjoy this thing. So it was pretty cool to see. And some results of that were, we saw the principal of Thomas Elementary talking to the tennis association about, hey, what can we collaborate here on? Because we can bring students here if you have instruction to help with this, and use those courts for that purpose. So we made some really cool connections with it too. I think staff had fun out there. Tyrone had fun out there. He took some kid on one-on-one. It didn't seem fair.
Start them young.
Actually, a really great picture. Tyrone from the paper.
Right,
That'll go in next month's newsletter or this month's.
right, yeah, yeah, we took tons of photos ourselves too.
Sarah got, and she's our events and marketing coordinator, was there. She got some great video. We did a reel on our social media pages that is pretty fun to watch too. We did kind of a second ribbon cutting with the kids when they got there.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. So
Turned out great. Really appreciate being there for that.
Yeah, so it was neat. So that's our very first BBB special revenue capital project to deliver to this community since 2003. Quite some time. Yeah. Yeah, something for everybody to be proud about. And, that was something that was a high priority for the commission and to get this done. And so feels good to check a large project off our list, kind of thing.
Thanks for all your hard work on it.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure, for sure.
What's your Instagram handle? Is it pros?
Yes. It's, I think,
Flagstaff Pros, probably. Let me
Let's
see,
see.
and I can tell you. It's Flagstaff Pros.
I know that we did a post on it, and tagged the associations that help with volunteer work. Um, And I'm sure a couple other fun keywords to push that post a little bit. And the elementary school too. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was neat.
If you guys haven't gotten out there yet, I recommend going out and checking it out. Turned out great.
Yeah. Yeah, check it out. Check it out.
Check it out. Well, thanks, Amy.
Sure.
And thanks for getting that project going and done. Looks great. Perfect. Do you guys have any comments on? Not, we will move on to our favorite topic, the
Bathroom.
the bathroom in Heritage Square, the restrooms.
Restrooms, you got it. It is a fun topic. So we have a concept design that I wanted to share with the commission, and it kind of goes into those priorities also that we've all been, that the commission previously has worked on, and this was another one of those top priorities to try to accomplish. So I've been working on this with a capital engineering project manager, and we had 4 concept designs created. And this is the winning concept design. So this is as far as this thing has been designed, but at least it gives you an idea. So to refresh the commission's knowledge on this, the Heritage Square restrooms are 2 separate rooms attached. The rooms themselves are attached to the Hopi Trust building that you access off the alley. So there are doors that you open, and you've basically got like a 8 foot by 8 foot room with a toilet, a sink, all that kind of stuff. This is taking those 2 spaces and revamping it so that we have positive behaviors and not poor behaviors occurring. Because when you have access to an 8 by 8 room with a solid door, you get to close and lock, a bunch of things happen. So what we're proposing is where it says the words overhead coiling grill, that's essentially the entrance to these restrooms off the alley. Right across the way would be the Creperie and Uptown Billiards, just for people's knowledge. So we're showing an opening, if you will. And if larger cities, a lot of times have that where you've got like a security gate that comes down, even if it's got a solid surface behind it, but at least it's open, it's open. And you'll see there's a sink right there. So a sink would be right there in that opening, still inside that gate, so not accessible in the middle of the night, but open for, so you could just come by and wash your hands if you needed to. It's kind of a nice benefit to that. To the left is where it says the words new wall, and it's got that solid darker line. That's like a janitor's closet, for lack of a better term, or a custodial closet where we could have all the restroom supplies in there, plus a mop sink for quick cleaning when that needs to happen. That's pretty ideal for something like this. And then these other walls are, it's a partition would be the technical name. So just like if you went into the restrooms here at the Aquaplex, there's partitioned walls where you go in, where there's a toilet space, right? You've got a door that you can close and lock, but it's gonna have opening at the bottom. So you're gonna see feet at the bottom, just like in most public restrooms you're used to going into, and openings at the top. What we were able to do with this design is get 3 toilets in there, which was huge, where we currently have 2. So we're adding a toilet. There's a huge benefit to that, to this concept design. So you've got 2 toilets with their own partition doors right there, and then an ADA one. And then within that ADA version is also an adult changing station. That's required by Arizona state law on that, to have an adult changing station inside a bathroom since 2021 in a public restroom. Have at least one adult changing station there. So we felt comfortable going with 3 toilet spaces. Again, that increases flushability, if you will, with 1 sink accessible outside those partitioned walls. And then that janitor's closet.
the closed position thing?
That's that adult changing station. So it's showing that dotted line if it's.
Oh, when it's open or closed. Okay,
Yep, and then what it looks like when it's actually physically pulled down. Is that solid line there?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's literally an adult change, like a accessible
What are you pushing up and down?
table.
Oh, all right.
You've got a sitting space to change clothes.
Oh, all right.
Okay, I was like,
Change.
thinking of the baby stations.
That's what I was.
Right.
Don't those, I mean, it doesn't have a baby station, but usually you can use that adult changing station similarly too, or is it too low?
Or
For a
baby.
baby station?
Do not have a baby changing station in here, not required to, and we're not showing one in here.
But I like the adult changing station
Could
would be.
It could be used.
Yeah. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, I would love any feedback or thoughts.
What's going on the sides where it's a thinner? Is that just existing building?
It's the existing footprint of the 2 units today.
But that's a wall for the building, right?
Absolutely, yeah, and goes to other suite owners, so it's not a part of this space.
And then, so will the overhead coiling grill, will that be rolled up during the day?
Yes,
So it doesn't keep going up and down? Like
Correct.
Someone goes in there and it,
right,
okay.
yeah. That will be up in the upward position while the bathrooms are open for use and then closed and locked when they're not.
And that adheres to the normal hours of parks and everything else around.
Is that normal to parks?
Well, I mean, no, I mean, is the hours that the restroom is open, standard hours?
They are standard hours, yes. Yeah. So yeah, we're hoping that changes the, meets the criteria of changing the complete setup, if you will, of the 2 current restrooms and adds a toilet.
It's all supposed to be really durable in case someone, you know,
For vandalism, yeah, we haven't spec'd out everything yet, but yes, there'll be the vandal-proof specifications associated with this.
is it gonna be just a concrete floor or is it?
Haven't decided yet. I mean, it's a concrete floor that exists today.
Have you thought about making that sink like a big tub sink so you could fit 2 faucets in there rather than having 2 separate sinks, just have one like tub sink with 2 faucets?
We haven't thought about that, no, hopefully it works with, cause we didn't want the sink facing the alley. Cause you don't wanna be standing in the alley, so since you're facing this way, you're not even facing the back of those partition doors technically to wash your hands, so we needed to be thoughtful of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
That's
don't,
why I know you can't add a second sink there, right? Cause there's that thing there, but you could possibly just make a slightly bigger sink with 2 faucets, just 1 faucet for 3 bathrooms. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I hate standing behind someone awkwardly waiting to wash my hands. It
right.
is a public restroom, so there's some
It
things
is a
to
public
accept.
restroom. I don't think the way that to have a body stand there and physically wash, I think then you're impeding that entryway to those toilets. So I think it might be hard to do. Yeah.
Plus you don't want it too big where someone could possibly take a bath in it.
Right, yeah.
I've seen that.
We laughed, but I'm pretty sure I'm here.
Oh, it's definitely, yeah, it's definitely
I've seen it.
truth behind that one.
Yeah.
So then, is it cleaned every day?
It's currently cleaned every day today. Yes, and so yeah, there would still be cleaning and janitorial responsibilities to this.
Put sprinklers in there and have me self-cleaning.
I wish. I don't think you can use fire suppression water for that.
Just asking. Cool. Anyone have any other comments? It looks great, Amy.
Yeah.
I think it'll be
When's this?
Great to have 2, like 3 bathrooms replacing 2 bathrooms.
a big positive. Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, I've known people that work in downtown. I know the nature of those restrooms right now. I think they will both be easier to manage and used more by the public. Like a lot of people that I know that are locals just don't use those restrooms.
I didn't even know they existed. So,
Cause that's, yeah, people don't like using them.
well, I don't know. Um, so is this a male, female, all genders restroom or is this?
Gender.
one? Okay.
Yep,
All inclusive.
yeah. Yeah,
And that's really common where places will have like stalled restrooms and then like a communal hand washing area. And so
yeah. Another thought is, at least a request in the specifications on this, once it goes beyond this concept drawing. I've experienced it in parking lots and public restrooms, especially at airports. The red light, green light, so you know if someone's in one of those partitions, it's red light, and it works off of that door is locked. So light illuminates, you'll know which one's open, which one is not. So would love to implement that here, because I just think that makes things a little smoother. So when you're waiting in line or whatever.
and I think it does get pretty dark in that, I mean, in the alley, even when it's not the middle of too dark at night, it gets pretty dark.
Right.
So I can see that being really useful.
Yeah,
Yeah, I assume you're implementing new light, updating lighting in there.
I'm sure there'll be updated light fixtures. And right now, where those two dotted lines are, where it shows overhead coiling grill, there's recessed cans in there right now. But I'm sure that we can add, if we need to add lighting, obviously all needs to be dark skies compliant. But yeah,
And there's security cameras in the alley itself.
there are not right now, no.
Any thoughts to having those added? Like
I don't
somewhere
think that's
where you
any,
can't view inside the restroom,
right.
at least in the alley. See those dome lights or dome cameras everywhere down.
Right, the alley is public right away, so that's not anything pros is gonna get involved with as far as cameras or anything like that.
Security, the police could implement that, I suppose.
I do know the businesses there have talked to police a lot about those restrooms being a problem, and they do end up just like having people patrol them more frequently now, just because the workers have felt unsafe, so
Yeah, the downtown
they
walking.
have eyes on it.
Yeah, we're always in connection with FPD on this.
So from here on out, kind of what's the schedule and process for getting this implemented and
So we talked with the Hopi Trust, because they're obviously the group that even owns the building where that these bathrooms sit within. And we've shown them, that group, this concept design, they're in favor of it. The Downtown Business Alliance has been shown this concept design. They also are in favor of this. And everyone likes the increase to the 3 toilets from 2. So next steps would be taking this concept design to tenant improvement construction drawings. And then sending it out to bid and then having a contractor construct what's on the drawings.
I didn't know if you were gonna go to bid or if it was just gonna be JOC or how that works.
I think I'd really want, we need drawings created, and not all JOC contractors can do that. That's pretty limited with the city, so we'll need to just continue to work on the construction drawing part, and then probably be most advantageous to do an invitation for bid and get the lowest qualified bidder for this.
That's good.
Cool. That's the restrooms. I know we're excited to see this concept design.
Yeah.
Commissioner Stackhouse will be disappointed he missed.
No,
Well.
make sure we email it to him or something.
I think it looks great.
It is
Anyone
It
else?
looks really good.
If there's no other comments on that, which I don't see on, anyone's got their hand raised, we can move on to our third thing, athletic allocations and information.
Perfect. That's me. And that's in response, I think, to some questions that came up initially in our last commission meeting regarding tournaments. So that's what my focus is athletic tournament allocations. Just for reference, our whole allocation process includes tournaments, local youth user groups, FUSD, all of the charter schools, and then we have a couple adult leagues as well. And it's encompassing all outdoor city space, any park, any ball field, is going to be impacted. Our tournament season is typically April through the end of September. We start usually that second week of April with girls softball, and then it continues to roll every weekend except two when we have an impacted special event. We don't have tournaments and special events in the same locations. Specifically, Pride in the Pines occurs at the Thorpe Softball Complex. We're not gonna have a softball tournament in conjunction with that. We host 21 tournaments total currently, so 4 soccer tournaments, 1 baseball, 11 adult softball, 3 youth softball, 1 rugby, and 1 ultimate frisbee tournament. With the exception of rugby, all of those tournaments are multi-day tournaments, so both Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Friday, sometimes Monday, depends if it's a holiday weekend or just a standard weekend. Majority of the tournaments that we host are hosted, or that we host are put on by out of city organizations. So they generate that top dollar for profit revenue. They also connect with our economic vitality department on hotel room blocks, which contributes to the BBB tax, which we are BBB funded. Just to give some like general numbers for participation, our lowest tournament has about 400 participants, which if you do the math on that is about 800 people attending it in a single day. Our largest has 1,700 to 2,000, depending on the year of just participants. So probably bringing in about 3,200 people to the town. All of our tournaments are also multi-location with the exception of rugby and ultimate frisbee. So our softball tournaments are typically hosted at the Thorpe Softball Complex, Fox Glen Park on both ball fields, and then a couple of fields at Continental Complex. We host the baseball tournament, impacts all the fields at Thorpe Park, including West Flag Little League, the Continental, both fields at Fox Glen. We're continuing to see an increase in interest. Sorry, my computer decided to go to sleep, so I've lost my notes. In actual tournaments, and I assume with the amenity of pickleball courts being put in place and the temporary striping, we will see a couple pickleball tournaments also come to town this year or this upcoming.
What about disc golf?
Oh, we do have disc golf. We run disc golf tournaments and cross country specifically as special events because they impact so many other park amenities. And then athletics tournaments will move into that same format so that they hit the trigger of like trash and portable restrooms and compliant parking. We host about 6 disc golf tournaments a year.
Wow.
Yeah, and about 10 cross country meets. Yeah, that's most of that information.
Well, and some roller derby permits have gone out. What it does not include are if we have, say, the Flagstaff Little League or Girls Softball Little League going to like a regional tournament or state and hosting that here. We usually find out if we're not guaranteed those types of tournaments, if you will, or athletic events. We never know if those are happening. So those would be in addition to all those that Haley's listed.
They would be, and this is just tournaments. That's not regular.
Oh, yeah.
Regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regular play. So we wanted to kind of just bring that forward just for informational and discussion purposes and see what discussion is also out there because we know that one commissioner has an interest in like, what permitting opportunities are out there for specific sports. I'm sure everyone's thought about that too. So we wanted to kind of describe what occurs today and how we know how many of those events that are hosted and that potential BBB revenue that comes in from that, from hosting those events at our park grounds.
Yeah, I did. So they're both, a lot of tournaments are funded for BBB as well as bring in funding for BBB. So it's kind of like a positive feedback loop, if you want to think of it that way.
What is the size of an event that triggers the need for restrooms and parking and all that stuff?
Oh, so
How do you figure that out?
it depends on the location. With a special event, our baseline trigger is anything over 100 people. Restrooms need to be a consideration, but it's discretionary on if there's portable or restrooms already on site, either permanent or portable. But typically, standard practice is 100 people or more above the typical use of the park, not 100 people coming in and renting a Ramada. The park's typically equipped for that, but if you're having an organized activity, especially, that's sort of industry standard to go off of. And then there's like a whole spreadsheet of the amount of people, the types of activities, the recommended ADA versus standard restrooms.
And is that something the city has to provide? Or is
No,
it something
no,
that
it's
they pay
usually
for
rent.
in?
They have to rent that.
Yeah, the event usually has to provide that.
They do. And then if there were permanent restrooms on site, specifically like thinking Thorpe softball complex, if there's a tournament on site that wishes to utilize those, they're required to do all of the cleaning and the stocking, and the locking of those during that event. Often in addition to portable restrooms also being brought in.
There's trash impacts of hosting these types of tournaments and events that the applicant is responsible for.
And then if they're non-compliant, you just don't rent to them again, or, sorry, maybe rent isn't the right word.
Nowadays, if they're non-compliant, we implemented a probationary period depending on the type of infraction. So you receive a probationary letter if there's damages or costs accrued by staff. They're billed for that. We do collect a pretty nominal deposit. So we apply that deposit and then any additional damages would be collected prior to them being eligible. And then it's, if you have another infraction the following year or however many years, depending on what it is, you're likely not going to be welcome back.
All good questions though, to understand the process and the impacts.
Yeah, I never even thought about that.
Yeah. And then that's outside of all of the other special events that happen to occur, usually in park grounds and all the athletic play Haley referenced to. Summer camps, you name it.
Yeah,
So
I really
That's a lot
appreciate
of
all that
follow.
information. Super useful.
Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.
Yeah. Um. Honestly, no, it's just a lot of, not surprising how much we're doing, but it is surprising to like put it all into numbers and think about it, just because I know we have a lot going on in this town. It's a decently active town.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, our fields are rented every day from April to the end of November.
Yeah, I remember you just talking about that at the last meeting too.
Yeah. Yeah, so we figured this was like a good tie-in to when we discussed the changes to the athletics allocation process last month. There's some other factors included in that when there's tournaments hosted at these locations. And we know what potential revenue that brings in to the city.
And then if someone wanted to host a tournament, would it be like a year application kind of thing? Just because I feel like with tournaments, there's things that happen yearly, so there's gonna be stuff that's kind of already on the calendar.
So that's a good question. We operate under historic precedents, so tournaments and special events that are in good standing receive their historic date or weekend. It's typically a weekend every year. And then any other date is essentially open for potential reservation, assuming that that organization is able to meet insurance requirements, restrooms, trash, and that the ideal or the desired activity fits the space.
And those deposits and the costs, those are gonna be revisited soon, right? There's an audit or a review going on.
We hope so, yes. So we're hoping to have a rate study for all of pros rates. So All of them, and that would include those rental rates, if you will.
So on average, with that historic precedent, how far in advance would you need to book something to try to get?
We accept applications 6 months in advance, but we communicate, like, we're communicating on a couple potential tournament hosts now, just to even identify possible dates. Because there is pretty limited availability, because just because the weekend doesn't have a tournament doesn't mean it's going to be open for a tournament. We have all the youth athletics that also take place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The soccer tournaments held, is that at Thorpe?
Yeah, Thorpe Complex, softball complex, multi-purpose. And then they branch and also utilize NAU quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, from your last presentation, I know that basically all spaces are kind of used for all sports.
They are, everything is treated as a multi-purpose field,
Yeah.
unless it is a grassy play area, like Bushmaster Park is not going to host a soccer tournament.
Be really hard with all those hills.
Yeah, you'd be surprised the requests that come in though, so we'll be safe
Huh.
for the record.
Submitting it for the record. Awesome.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Great. Well, thanks for the presentation. Informative, so we'll continue to study that as we go along. Our last discussion item today is upcoming winter events.
That's me again.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, so we have our one very large event, Winter Wonderland and the Holiday Tree Lighting is December 6th in the downtown. We host that event in collaboration with the Downtown Business Alliance and Discover Flagstaff. The event itself runs from 2:30 to 7, with Santa arriving on the fire truck at around 6:15 PM to light the tree. Some of the activation is hot cocoa, crafts, some bouncy houses. We have a couple of community partners coming out. And then obviously Santa coming in is the big one. Yeah, so you're all welcome to attend that. It's awesome. We bring out about 10,000 people for that event. Most of them arriving around 5 o'clock. And then the road, Aspen and Blue, will be closed for that event. And it's the exact same road closure if you've attended the Pine Cone Drop. This is my plug into the next winter event. It's that exact same footprint, which allows the crowd to disperse so a fire truck can actually drive through a crowd of people safely. And then our next event is New Year's Eve, which takes place on New Year's Eve, goes into about 3 o'clock in the morning. On the 1st is when the roads typically reopen. That's a huge collaborative effort with emergency management. They do most of the coordination with public safety, and then we do some of those event logistics, such as the road closure, ADOT permit, and portable restrooms. And then the Downtown Business Alliance will be hosting a noon drop, and then there'll be a drop at 10 and a drop at midnight, along with fireworks.
So you're working collaboratively with the Downtown Business Coalition? Okay.
Fireworks?
Yeah, we do fireworks on New Year's Eve every year.
Mhm.
Off
Really
of
good strap.
Who knows? Maybe there'll someday not be fireworks allowed on New Year's Eve, actually. Who knows?
currently.
We're currently not in a fire restriction stage.
And the fireworks that take place in Flagstaff are low proximity, so not what you would see in like the Phoenix area. Questions?
You participate, don't they have a Christmas parade or something like that? Is that part of?
That's an event that my office permits, but it's hosted by the Chamber of Commerce, but Pros does participate in that event.
The holiday light parade.
That's what it's
Or
called.
that's the 6th, that's part of the,
That's the following Saturday, I think, the 13th.
Yeah, those are separate events.
That's the Chamber of Commerce, right?
Yes.
What's going on, Haley?
Busy time of year.
Sounds like every time of year is a busy time.
Pretty much.
Between events and tournaments and such, yeah.
It's not really a winter event, but I think something cool to mention, because I know there's been some information out there that Haley helped figure out. It just shows our collaboration with others, but the new marching band will be playing at the Macy's parade for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving in New York City, and they needed kind of a practice area, if you will. So that, what day is that, next week? This week.
They're playing at Buffalo Park. They'll be marching the entire loop. It might be new information for some in the room.
Buffalo Park?
Yeah, they want to practice their entire performance
That?
Could be like.
Wednesday at
Going to the
I
meet.
know, it may not be the best weather for them to practice, unfortunately.
I
Well, it may not be that great in New York City.
Right?
That's a really cool collaboration.
know. Maybe I run over from work. I said, maybe I run over from work to watch.
Right? Those are some of the neat requests, though, that Haley's team receives that maybe don't, it's not the square peg in the round hole. And we're like, how do we do this? But yeah, it's pretty wild what comes our way.
Thanks for all your hard work.
Tyrone, real fast, off the top of your head, are there any special winter events at rec centers in December?
Special winter events. Now we just really start the youth basketball league starts up. But as far as actually, well, I'll take that back because some years we'll do different things at the rec center with, well, we won't have Santa or anything like that, but we'll have like a sit-in, a movie night, gift exchange. So we have some of those events.
We have the adopt a grandparent
That's
event.
That's actually held through the JCM. And so we host, but we're a collection site and get the tree and all that. And so we collect some of the gifts that are given for the adopted grandparents and everything. So we do that. It's just not one that we actually put on
Yeah.
ourselves.
Nothing special like we do from home here with the pumpkin, floating pumpkin
All
thing.
right.
Floating Santa hats.
No.
I don't know, but I saw you also had the adult basketball league starting up too, so
Sir.
is that you?
And youth basketball registration starts.
It's currently open.
It's open.
It's currently open and we have the skills drills and assessment coming up this Saturday. And that's where all the kids come in and they go through different drills. We have NAU men's basketball team. They come over and they collaborate with us and they put the kids through a bunch of different drills and just to assess the skills. And then the coaches will come in and they'll try and divvy up the teams and make it as equitable as possible, and so that we don't have just, one stacked team that runs through it all, because we really try to emphasize this is more of a fundamental league, a league to learn. We're not necessarily trying to get like the most stacked second and third grade.
That's not how it was when I was a kid. All the good kids on one team,
So
the rest of us.
So now we're very conscious of that and try and divvy that talent up so that we have some parity throughout so that kids can have a good experience and hopefully come back to play again as opposed to getting beat by 50 and not wanting to come out anymore. So we really try to be conscious of that because that has happened in the past in a lot of different leagues.
Man,
Yeah.
Happened to be you.
Yeah.
what's the age on that one?
So it goes from second grade up to eighth grade. So the leagues are second, third, fourth, fifth, and then middle school. And middle school is sixth, seventh, and eighth graders. And it's co-ed. This is how we run that. But yeah, that's getting ready to start up. So
And you also have the ice hockey league, right?
Mhm.
Going on right now.
yep, that's
Is that
going on.
something you organize?
No, hockey is the one that we do not do.
Yeah, that's just ran by the staff out of the ice rink itself.
Wow. Lots going on. Thanks for everybody's hard work and keeping that running. Good job. Anybody else got anything to talk about? Everybody's kind of quiet today.
I know, right?
All right, well, that's it for our discussion items. We can move on. I don't know if you looked at the monthly newsletter for October, but that was informative. Lots going on there too. So, what did I notice? Oh, you got a full staff now,
I've got full staff now. I can open it up.
cutting trees down.
Cutting trees down. Oh, boy. Let me see if I can open up the newsletter.
It was diseased,
Oh, I know.
hazard, just,
Chop them down.
No, I read the newsletter.
I'm sure that was a fun day.
Does anyone want me to share?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Hang on a sec. Got it to work to where we can share. I did. All right. So we have a couple new park staff members. That's the full-time statement that Chairperson Parsons is referencing. I think Gino's elated to be fully staffed in the park section. It feels good. It does.
Time.
Right? Those were the two most recent hires. One of them does happen to be an excellent trainer and expert with chainsaw work. So we're pretty excited about that. We've already done some neat things on that. But both Michael and Anthony joined the parks team, so that was super cool. I think there was some, I just noticed the spelling error. Sorry, that was my pause.
Big screen.
Yeah, and you see it, right? So there's some trailer, not like sailor training that occurred with all the multiple training that the park section does on a daily basis. There was a tree felling training also that happened. That was the tree that was being referenced there. We always have our trail counts in there, and those are the trail counters that are along the urban trail that are also within our open spaces. We always see those monthly counts in there. And then some recreation stuff. It was a lot of the highlights of the cool events that the recreation team hosted with the Halloween holiday or throughout the month of October. So the ice rink had the spooky skate. That was awesome and heavily attended. There was Friday Fright Night at Hal Jensen and the pumpkin plunge here at the Aquaplex. So 3 super cool events and participation from our community members is always pretty exciting to see. And some data on that. Open space always has some really neat things that they have done. Some information there on the bluebird habitat and work on that with Northern Arizona Audubon Society. Some of the outdoor education highlights were did field trips with Mount Eldon Middle School 7th grade, some stuff with Flag High, and some additional stuff with the 6th grade classroom at Mount Eldon Middle School. So that program continues to thrive and really a lot of collaboration there with the school district and reaching a lot of our youth in the community, which is awesome. We never have our events, marketing, and athletics. So the adult basketball registration opened up, $325 per team. Some information on Winter Wonderland that Haley was previously discussing, and with that flyer, So again, that's December 6th, 2:30 to 7 at Heritage Square. Should be a lot of fun. There's some images from years past with the guy in the red suit on top of a fire truck. Some social media performance recently. So some data involved in that, a lot of engagement, which is really pretty cool to see as the team continues to grow that program. And then information on youth sons, junior sons basketball that Tyrone was just chatting about. That skills day coming up and some of the sessions. And then open space, we just, I guess, almost 2 weeks ago, 12 days ago, there was a full moon hike. Those are pretty cool and well attended. That one, the location was at Observatory Mesa. And yeah.
How many teams do you have signed up for the adult basketball?
You gonna start one?
A commissioner one.
I'm not going back. What's that?
We need to post for a
Right.
couple.
Haven't checked, but I'd be happy to.
Hey, I did win City League 4 years in a row up in Portland. That was a good goal.
Talking about.
Has like Devin Booker, or anybody ever reached out to the city the way he's reached out to the high schools here?
Not to the city. I know like for the high school, since I coached there, we were kind of a benefactor of the shoe giveaway that he gave. He gave out shoes to boys and girls basketball teams, but we haven't had any collaboration with the city itself. And like with the Junior Sons program, we're trying to get it to where we can get like an actual active player to come to a game as opposed to the marketing staff or an ex-player that none of the kids are familiar with. So we're working to try. I doubt we get Devin during the season, but we're still trying to see if we can get an active player to actually stop by one of the Saturdays because our games are on Saturday. So we'll see where that goes.
Just to figure that out.
And then on the trail count,
Uh-huh.
I always have a question regarding, I think it's Route 66
Sure.
east and west. What is the dividing line? I mean, where does it go from east to west?
So that segment's about a little over 4 miles in length, the Route 66 segment.
Uh-huh.
So we have a marker on the west side and on the east side, a trail counter.
Where does the like cutoff happen, start?
Where is the trail counter itself?
I know there's one at the Preservation
Mhm.
Plaza.
That would be the east side one. And
Okay,
then the west side one is not too far from downtown.
okay. And the west side route runs from where to where?
Where does where the Route 66 trail begin?
Yeah,
Right at San Francisco
okay,
and
The
all the
tracks.
way down past the mall.
yeah. And, okay, and so when does it, so the west portion is from San Francisco to,
It counts two-way traffic, so I mean, it could be in.
oh, it's just,
Yeah.
it's just eastbound or westbound?
Not what we're counting.
It's just in the eastern
Oh.
area, the western, because it's in a 4.1 mile length of a trail segment.
I see.
Kind of culturally in Flagstaff, what is east and west has always been argued on, but I think that's a decent marker for that. That San Francisco line.
It's just where we have the actual trail count itself.
Yeah, and that's just for
So the
trail management.
trail
Yeah.
counter is closer to San Francisco then.
Closer to the downtown area. It's not at San Francisco, but closer to the downtown area.
Okay.
So you're seeing more foot traffic near the downtown counter.
Yes, you do. And that makes sense because that Route 66 Foots Trail is, I would think is considered a commuter trail. You're getting from two different sides of town. So you might see an influx of individuals possibly going to work in the downtown area versus that eastern side.
You.
Plus it's probably counting all the tourists that are walking up and down it too. Depending on where.
It's not at San Francisco,
No.
but that's where the Route 66 Foots Trail begins.
I always had a question on that. I never.
As usual, the Buffalo Park Loop has the highest counts. Yep. And yeah, and there's two of them at Buffalo Park, but that loop one is at mile marker 1.25. So it's individuals physically doing typically that full loop. The other one is listed as the Buffalo AZT for the Arizona Trail, and that's at the back.
Can you go back? Yeah.
That
They have a running cross-country match up there. Does it count on how many,
It's
Yeah.
counting.
every single time they go by?
I think they only go by once, I believe, in a
I see a lot
country event.
that go around multiple.
Yeah.
Is Mars? Is Mars Hill just literally walking by this road or is there a different trail on it?
It's the urban, so all these are along the urban trail system, so not anyone else's trail system. That's the name of that segment of the foots of the urban trail system is the Mars Hill one. So that's right, if you cross Thorpe Road and the disc golf course would be within, and as you go up, that's the Mars Hill foots.
Do you know if people, because there used to be like a full moon bike on Mars Hill, do you know if that's counted in these numbers?
I don't think so, because I don't think there is a full moon on Mars Hill.
Okay. I know it was.
I'm aware of.
The open space team will try to switch up the hike. Sometimes in the summer, they'll do a bike or like they try to switch it up, like just like they do location. Sometimes they'll do a bike full moon thing instead of a hike. But that's all just dependent on the open space staff.
Yeah. Cool.
But if they went by one of these, then yeah, it
It would count
It
it.
counts. Yeah, it counts pedestrian and a bicycle by.
I read a really interesting article, I think it was REI that put it up, but it was talking about creating your own trail, basically linking a bunch of different trails and like naming it. So that people could use all kinds of pieces, like parts of the West Trail and then connect over and hit the Arizona Trail, hit Buffalo Park, all that stuff. How do you designate what is an official trail in these counts?
So are the Flagstaff Urban Trail System, the foots, there's 60 miles of it. And that is a city maintained trail. Those are the only locations that we have trail counters on. We don't have trail counters on private trails or single track trails at all. Those would be those private trails are private. And most of the single track trails are in the national forest, not a part of the urban trail system.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Sure.
Running us through it. Great. More comments on the monthly newsletter. Let's move on. I know we don't have Councilmember Garcia, so you can skip over reports and updates and move on to number 9, which is information items to and from commissioners and staff. If anyone has any informational items they'd like to share. I don't.
Nothing?
I don't apologize for low energy. I did a Grand Canyon hike on Saturday, so 20 miles was, I thought I was more prepared for it than I was. The last 3 miles almost ended me, so I think my energy is a little off and I apologize for that. My body is recovering still.
20 miles, is that down to the river and back?
Yep, but there's parts of it that's closed, so we had to adjust, so it added like 4 miles, which was fun.
I haven't done that in a while.
You didn't know that going in the.
Oh, we did. We planned for it. That's why I knew that going in. It definitely was just like, okay. Yep, it definitely is still closed. It was beautiful though.
Well, let's talk about, so our next meeting would be on December 15th for the December version. And if we're good, I'd also like, usually we have conflicts in both January and February with city observed holidays. So I want to take a look at those dates too, if we can at this time.
Yeah, it looks like January's right now is happening on that Martin Luther King Day.
It is, so if everyone's good with keeping the December 15th, date, and I can come up with some agenda items, or again, or if there are agenda items for our next meeting, but we need to take a look at January. Right now, it would be on January 19th, which is Martin Luther King Day, and the city of Flagstaff is closed, and that's an observed holiday for staff. So we could move it. We could not do a meeting in January. February will be our month where we'll want to do a combination one with the Open Spaces Commission. And the Parks and Recreation Commission usually hits on President's Day. So we usually end up doing that combination meeting on the scheduled Open Spaces meeting date, which would be and we'll look that up, but in the past, we've done a variety of things. Is it no January meeting, or is it a January meeting to prepare for that combination open spaces meeting, or whatever commissioners want to do?
Let's plan on, or for now, maybe we can just assume that we'll have a January meeting, but we can confirm that at next month's meeting with the rest of the commissioners in attendance.
We can, so the January 26th would not be an available day, because that's when the open spaces commission meeting occurs in this room.
So it'd have to be a week earlier.
So it would need to be a week early, which would be January 12th. If we were
I would
to,
have conflict 12, but I would vote to skip and pick back up in February, I think.
And we could in that December meeting discuss stuff that we want to do at that
we could,
space.
that combination meeting.
And then if there's anything that comes up between now and February, you kind of have that time.
I think last year we skipped January as
I
well.
think so.
I think we did. Yeah,
It's not a big.
great. Yeah,
Kind of low agenda items at this
it
point.
kind of is. Yes, we could keep our December meeting, and that could also, one of the agenda items could be developing those, the topics that we'll have with our combination meeting. So if we skip January, and then our combination meeting with the Open Spaces Commission would be February 23rd. And that's where the two commissions will also approve and give staff the approval for those BBB rec special revenue fund, those capital plans. And so we'll go through that process in February with also the Open Spaces Commission. Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll get communication sent out, and we'll definitely send some reminders between Lori and I on that, how we will not have a meeting in January. And then start to work on that combo meeting in February, and then we'll have our meeting on December 15th.
Cool.
Cool.
If anyone has any topics they can think of between now and then, add to the agenda, just, hit me with that. Very good. Is that it?
I think so.
You got anything else they want to add before we adjourn? Austin, you're being pretty quiet.
Yeah, I've just been listening. It's all been sounding good. Haven't really had any major questions. But the schedule's looking good for December and January. I agree with all that. I was remembering that we didn't have it in January last year, so I was like, oh, it sounds about normal.
Very good. Well, thank you. Thanks to everybody for attending today. Appreciate it. With that, if no one's got any objections, we'll move to adjournment. Thank you.
Go.
Bye, y'all. Thanks.
Oh.